Fucking ballsy squirrels. Fucking the nuts on those squirrels, I tell you.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Now that's how you start a comedy show.
That was awful.
Yeah. Okay. Because it has to get funnier than that.
Yeah, for real.
You're listening to That's Life, the podcast designed with your laughter in mind. So please sit back, relax, and prepare to be entertained.
That's life.
And we're back.
We're back.
Yes, sir. It's episode number 64, Pete.
Oh, yeah.
Fast approaching comedic retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be comedic pirates at that point.
Yarr.
But yes, episode 64.
You think so? Would it be the sea?
Yes, and if you can't tell, that's Pater. Pater's with us.
I certainly am.
We're two-man-ing the hell out of this.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
We had a long list of special guests that all went someplace the fuck else tonight because
You're so special
whatever.
that they couldn't be here tonight.
yeah, they're little yellow bus not to the podcast special.
Which is okay. We'll have them. We're
It
going to do
happens.
more of these.
It's all good. Yeah, we do this on a regular enough basis.
Yeah.
We can get some peeps in on this.
Of course. We have a new segment today.
Which I'm excited about because it's going to be amazing.
Yes, we have the best of Mike Tyson quotes.
Which the comedy will just flow in and of itself.
Yes, it'll flow like
A
insanity.
butterfly and sting like a comedic bee.
and bite like a Tyson.
Delicious.
Yeah, we of course we have our What's New. We're going to have our new segment and our weird news. Let's jump right in, hip deep into our What's New.
Let us hit that. What's new?
Oh yeah, because we started. We had a false start because we started talking about movies that we saw and we were all excited, and then we realized, oh my God, it's been 20 minutes and we can't use any of this. We got to say this because it's actually almost insightful and funny.
Yeah.
And I totally wanted to talk about this movie that you mentioned to me before, and I went to see. Well, I went to see.
Yeah, it was on Netflix.
I went to my living room to see, and
traveled so far.
the Henry Cineplex, and saw Primer.
Yes.
Awesome movie. It's not about painting at all.
No, which it's an accidental time travel movie.
Yes,
And not so far as they accidentally made it about time travel, but that it's a time travel flick that is actually very grounded in reality.
Yes, it's almost feasible.
Yeah, but it's in that way where the guys that the movie is centered around accidentally make themselves a time traveling device.
Yeah, they're not really going for that. I think they were going for
trying
perpetual energy.
Yeah, make some kind of
or at least a new
perpetual
superconductor
thing.
kind of thing.
They didn't really fully know what they were doing, and then
and
they
that's
were
what
like,
makes it
"Oh,
great.
what's up with that?"
And it's all scaled down to completely believable.
And it's very human as well.
Yes.
It's not sci-fi. There's no special effects.
There's no bold characters where they don't.
Nobody's
paint worlds
saving
to-
a universe.
No, they're just really
They're
really
two
clever,
guys
normal
that
guys.
basically just play in the stock market is what they did with the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, because eventually it gets pretty awesome.
it gets, and you. This is. I'm warning you.
It gives
now.
you a really awesome thought experiment.
That's exactly what it is. You need to pay attention to this movie. Now, if you're watching this, you might have trouble connecting with it. I would have given up if Pete didn't say, dude, this is a great movie. Stick with it.
Yeah,
I would have given up about 10, 15 minutes in because
that's what makes it difficult, just because the way it's written and the way it's shot at the start is kind of it feels like a messy Kevin Smith movie.
Yes. It's like as I put it, I said it's like you're trying to pay attention. You're trying to pay attention to a conversation in a crowded restaurant that's happening 2 tables over,
But
while
nobody's
people are
talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, and you're just trying to listen and pay attention, but it clears up rather rapidly, actually.
Yeah, because it's really only the first
like
20 minutes that are real cluttered and kind of like, what the fuck am I supposed to be paying attention to
almost
here?
hurried. You can't lock in, and then you finally lock into these two main characters.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's just like
boom,
like one thing happens and dude walks up to the other guy and he's like, I need to talk to you. And from then on out,
it's just enchanting. It sucks you
really
in.
will keep you there like, on the edge of your seat to wait to see like, oh well, how do they deal with that?
I
What
went
the
to
hell?
make a sandwich at one point and came back, and I had to rewind because
you can't look
and it was only
away.
going fucking 4 minutes. It was a peanut butter sandwich. But I was like, wow, shit, I need food, and I can't let me just go. And I came back, and I'm like, fuck, and I had to rewind back to where you can't leave this movie. So watch it. Sit there, lock yourself in, to this fucking film. Turn off your cell phones and your other media, and put your wife to bed. And you're going to really want to pay attention to this, but it's completely worth it. It's interesting, it's provocative, it's neat. You root for these characters the whole time because you're just like, oh wow, what's gonna happen next? How are they gonna pull that off? Because everything leads to something else, which is interesting.
Yeah, and it really, really makes you think.
And the ending is a surprise.
And they put forth some big questions.
Yes, because it is a thought
as
experiment.
the audience. Yeah. Because they ask themselves, well, what would you do? And, which is just the movie way of asking the audience, what would you do with this situation, with this knowledge, with this idea, with this power of doing stuff? And I think that towards the end, when both characters eventually answer that question with, well, this is what I would do, they're both acceptable and very real human responses to what you would do with that.
And so not except the first 10, 15 minutes, which was probably stylistic choice and the way it was directed and shot. Aside from that, nothing pulls you out of this. Nothing jars your suspension of disbelief so much.
And especially when they get to explaining things, that when you're first watching it, with the beginning, you're like, well, what's up with that? And then they explain why it's there. It's like, holy shit, that's brilliant.
And they don't spoon feed it to you.
No, they really don't. They make you wonder until the very fucking end.
It's almost like you're there with them discovering these things. It totally pulls you in. I love it.
And that's the whole that's the whole way it was written, because the characters themselves don't know what's going on, and then because it's told as a narrative, because you're being told this story as the whole thing's a flashback essentially.
Yeah, and because it's time travel, you're not really sure what point in the total movie you're being told this till the end, and you realize.
Yeah, and even then it's not very clear cut.
Yeah, even then you're like, well, could this be?
Which go round is this?
Yeah, it leaves you questioning things and thinking afterwards. After that,
that's the kind of movie I really like.
I totally wanted to be smarter after I saw that, because I was like, oh, I'd love to just fuck around
I
like
had the
that.
same feeling. I was like, I need to take more courses in physics.
I wish I could be smarter. But it's absolute. If you have an ounce of thought in your head and you're capable of thinking about things, totally watch this. Another movie that I'd love to give a big shout out to is Cloud Atlas. I got to see it. I heard about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one yet.
The critics jerked off all over it, but it didn't seem to be too much of a box office thing, and it was presented one way. They made this movie which you have to think hard, and the scope of it's big. It is essentially time travel in a way. It's more metaphysical, reincarnation and karma centered. But there's, I think, 3 or 4 different stories. Different characters play different parts in different stories.
Okay.
Set, I think it's fucking in a 500-year cycle. So it starts in the 1800s and it ends way in the future.
Interesting. All right.
And it's just fucking, it's great. There's a few things about it which might jar you a little bit because different you have Oriental actress playing a red-haired a white person in the South, and you can kind of tell that's totally not. It's like, I can still see your eyes are Chinese. I hate to sound like racist white guy.
Yeah, you're a little slanty.
I hate to sound like Taylor here, but I could totally tell, and that jarred me a tiny bit. But that scene's not very big or essential.
So as long as you can suspend your disbelief a touch.
Tom Hanks, though, the entire time with his makeup, totally believable. Totally bought it. They had the guy from Hugo Weaving from The Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
He plays progressively badder guys till a point where, and I didn't understand till the end, which I won't give away because I can't, because it's just such a wonderful experience.
Which is good because I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, man. People who are listening who may not have seen it, I don't want to ruin it for them. But
right.
You'll understand about, if you understand the rudiments of how karma works, why he plays the character he does at the story set in the future, which we call the end of the movie. We'll call the end of the movie. And when I realized that, I was like, oh. I just sat there afterwards really thinking for an hour after I watched this movie. I'm
definitely not watching that tonight, but I will download it. I will get it.
Watch it legally. But it's completely worth the time it will take to watch it and think. Because you can't watch it and walk away. and go do shit, because not just because you'll get lost in the technical aspect like in Primer, it's just you won't want to miss anything. It's beautifully shot. Each separate story arc, because it starts off jumping around a little bit more, and then you halfway through the film you start to understand how these different tales are coming together, but not enough that you feel like it's being spoon-fed to you and you can predict the end.
Yeah.
And then you finally get to the end or the future, and you're like, wonderful. I love the way this comes together. I love these characters. And then you realize the characters are the same characters all through. I can't say enough good shit about Cloud Atlas. Watch it. Love it. It's totally worth it. And I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are about it, Pete, once you see it. Because I'm desperately trying to get people whose opinion and I value and who think to watch it so I can talk to them about it, so I can learn from their insight as well as to what they got out of the film. Because I'm cursed with one brain and one life, I think. But yeah, totally loved Cloud Atlas. 2 quality films. Watch them after you watch the Star Trek
Into Darkness.
Too Fast, Too Darkness, part 2.
Too Fast, Too Cumberbatch.
Yeah, because you'll feel dumber after you watch the Star Trek films. Star Trek films. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's comparing thinking and fun. I mean, you can't really.
It should be called Star Trek: The Theme Ride.
Yeah,
it's a fucking amusement park ride, man. That's all it is. And then,
which there's nothing wrong with amusement.
No,
rides.
And if they're taking a Star Trek franchise and they're making it appealing to dumb Fast and Furious crowd people.
See, the thing is, I think that because they're going to take that same sensibility to Star Wars, I think that's
no.
Well, no, see, but I think that's where Star Wars will. I mean, especially considering the most recent abortions of movies.
I don't count them as Star Wars, don't I?
Right, but I mean, it's going to make the Star Wars franchise a lot better now.
Even if
they're never going to capture the magic of the original trilogy. Let's face that right now.
Bullshit. They can do better. They can do better than that. Why? Because they have that to build off. But I mean, they have what is essentially.
Oh, but did you hear who they're casting in 7 as the main dude? Jonathan Rhys Meyers.
He's
a great actor.
Watch The Tudors, because I think he really fucking blows his wad in that. He is, well, literally and figuratively. But
yeah, I hear there's a lot of that.
I love him portraying Henry VIII. He made that what was essentially just a sex crazed tyrant who wanted to do whatever the fuck he wanted. But he brought some depth to it. He portrayed emotions incredibly well in that series. I loved that series. In fact, it's been enough time. I could probably watch it all again. Except I kind of am. It's called The Borgias, and which really it kind of is. Borgias is, and then they made Da Vinci. Is that what it's called? It's called Da Vinci?
I have no idea.
Fuck, I can't remember what it's called. It's about Da Vinci.
Right.
And I'm embarrassed I don't know the name of it. I am pretty sure it's not called Da Vinci. It's on Showtime, but it's worth watching. It's interesting.
All right.
But it's also in the same time period as the Borgias. In fact, he is and the Borgias are actually against Milan, and this is Da Vinci who is in Milan, and it's funny because the Borgias just had the period of history where they invade Milan and Da Vinci left and they're in his workshop. And I'm like, what? Make a crossover, dude. Why not?
You might as well, right? It sounds like.
Except one stars and one's a Showtime, so it's never going to happen. But Da Vinci's cute enough that you'll like it. It's interesting enough that you'll stick with it. Nowhere near as well written or well acted as the Borgias, which to me,
which I've heard good things about.
Borgias, I love the Borgias. I'm really enjoying it, and it's a shame. I think the season's coming to an end again because they're relatively short.
Yeah.
But dude, if you haven't seen the Borgias, check it out. This is like wow, we have a whole entertainment section, Pete.
Yeah.
This is cool.
We almost just reviewed like 18 different
movies
and shows.
And we absolutely didn't plan to do any of this.
Not really. We were just going to make a quick note about, hey, we really think you'd think about these movies that are worth thinking about.
The fact that I called Da Vinci, and I don't even know if it's called Da Vinci, and usually I'm like, no, Pete, I can't I can't do like a shout out because I didn't investigate who the director's name was, where he was, because I like to do that just to sound professional, but totally didn't. Sorry, people.
Well, that's fine considering the whole thing was sort of impromptu.
Yeah.
Can't really fault you for that. Well, it could, but I'm not going to.
What I lacked in details, I made up for with effervescence.
character
and gusto
panache
and excitement, because I get excited about things I think that I find are great and entertaining, and I love to share that with people because I love it.
Especially when it's like when it's not just a fluffy Star Trek entertaining,
no.
and it's actual smartness entertaining.
Yeah,
like,
I love that. Like when you told me about Primer and I saw it, I got so excited because I'm like, oh, Pete told me about this.
Yeah,
it might be something that's good.
It was
yay.
That was one of those. It was just a gem. A diamond in the rough.
Yeah, because usually like
sitting in the bottom of the Netflix
indie
barrel
films
there.
Are indie films, and we love some of them even when they kind of suck because we're like, oh, some great ideas there, but it suffers
and they made the
because
movie
it's
for
an indie film.
$20,000.
Yeah, like Clerks. When it came out, we loved Clerks because we're like, this is so great and genuine feeling. And then you watch it now though, and you're like, I thought this was good. Oh,
unfortunately, I had the same feeling about. I got the hankering to watch Dogma. Because I was like, I remember Dogma being so great. And then I watched it, and unfortunately, especially after having watched Red State, just along the Kevin Smith line of films, I was like, wow, he really doesn't move his camera.
Yeah, this is so flawed.
It's like Matt Damon is great. But
it's great.
Chris Rock is great, but
in a certain way,
working with what they got, and
it's a giant tongue-in-cheek thing, and it's cute, and we love it because we love Kevin Smith and we love the energy he brings and the funniness.
Yeah, but unfortunately, as a film, it's kind of crap.
Yeah, and it could have been. I would love to see him do Dogma now.
Oh yeah,
with his
current sensibility, and everything,
and to really tell that story because that story could have been.
Yeah, because I think he could really if he brought a serious spin to it.
Yeah, like a little suave and sophistication.
Because he could still tell it in that cynical, jaded way he has towards
and even
the Catholic
a little tongue in
Church.
cheek, but
it would be like he could pull Jay and Silent Bob out of there and leave almost everything else.
Yeah, and just tell a really cool, endearing, interesting, thought-provoking story. Not what he was going for. We understand this, people. We realize what we're doing here. We're
Dogma 2, that's all. It'd be interesting.
We know we're being nitpicky and kind of cunty. We know this, but
we do it because we love.
But
Kevin Smith.
it's like it's like Army of Darkness. We love Army of Darkness because he really loved what he was doing and that came through in his films.
Yeah. It's still cheesy and
it's still cheesy.
Crappy effects and it's just tongue in cheek and funny, but
Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2, I think it was in 1 where they had that scene cutting off arms and legs and blood spattering everywhere. If that was done in any other movie, it would be such crap. But he's such a master fucking filmmaker.
And that's big and
the energy, and the performance, he sells it and he makes it work so that you're like, this is great. I love this.
Yeah, because Kill Bill is just an homage to those old school, cheesy ninja theater.
It's more than an homage.
Films.
It's as if someone with a budget and with a real eye to tell a story and with great acting just told a really cool story, you know, and sold it. Yeah, but he's all energy.
Tarantino's a master.
That guy, they're gonna talk about his fucking films. Critics are just now starting to really understand just how awesome it is. His shit's gonna be talked about 50 years from now, 100 years from now. They're gonna be talking about Tarantino's fucking films.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope he knows that somehow, some way.
Because he's. Right now, he's sort of starting to get there, but it's you're gonna see Scorsese, Spielberg, Tarantino. He's gonna be up there.
I would put Tarantino above Spielberg in many ways.
Well, but that's because Tarantino's going up. Spielberg has his name on shit
he's
now
laid
because
a lot of rotten eggs.
Well, I really think Spielberg did his thing when he did his thing. Jaws and
his time is done.
And now he's just all right, I oversee other creative
Crystal
projects.
Skull.
We'll forget about that.
I like the Falling Skies, which has its flaws. It's television.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I'm not familiar with that.
But he had a big hand in that Taken, the series way back when. The Taken series on Sci-Fi, which was it's TV, yes, it's sci-fi. We understand that, but the story was really neat. It was interesting. And it had its faults, but it told an interesting story. You really were wondering what was going on with these aliens, and again, he was more overseeing it. He was so as long as people like Eminem tried to rap, and it's like, oh, this is terrible because his fire went out. But then he produces and he works with people, and you're like, oh, this is actually not bad. You can see his influence. Same thing, and that brings our entertainment section to an end. But that wasn't bad though, Pete. We should do that
Every now and again.
With a little more forethought, though.
Yeah.
Because
we don't want to do that every time. That's not really our shtick.
Yeah.
But
or maybe make like a whole separate little mini That's Life movie
Life
reviews.
minisode,
Yeah. But that wasn't so bad. That wasn't almost sound like we know what we're talking about.
just enough ability to bullshit that
Yes.
we can sound semi-professional.
That's not bad, though. That's not bad. We'll move on to our What's New there, Pete's.
Yes.
Any exciting what news is with you? I only have one real story, but I love it.
Well, well, my what's new is just I'm just going to bitch a little bit because I need to get it out in a more public forum.
That's usually how it goes. It's either there's three Pete's What's News is. One, nothing much, playing World of Warcraft. It's kind of boring.
Which did happen.
Which is fine, though, because, it's like we're checking in. Two, everything is wonderful. I'm getting crazy pussy. I got great food. Let me tell you about how wonderful things are going. And then there's three, these fucking fucks. So I have a feeling this is the third variety.
Well, sort of. It's not as super bad now, but it was before. So I switched up jobs, so now I'm working closer to home, doing the same shit, but it's a lot less of a physical strain, so I'm not going to break myself entirely.
Or your car.
Yeah, exactly, or the car. So that's all good. Things are still going well with the not girlfriend. In fact, things are getting easier and better on that front. So
you won't break your car.
Yeah,
or your heart, actually, more.
That too. So switching up jobs. My last paycheck was coming in from the last job, and I have had direct deposit,
which is ordinarily makes things so much more convenient and fast.
Yeah, because things get deposited directly to the account every other Friday morning is how it went.
And in it goes, and you don't have to worry about it.
And life is easy. I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about that shit.
Worry about
so I figured last check would go into my account on this past Friday
like they
morning.
Really should.
Like you'd think it would. Well, no, that didn't happen. So I was like, all right, well, maybe it's just running behind because it's a holiday and it'll go in later in the day, Friday. No. So it turns out what happened is because of the last check, instead of just depositing it, they mailed out a paper check. Because this fucking company, every other fucking pay period, can't fucking decide what the fuck they want to do with how they want to fucking pay people, which is another big reason why I'm not upset that I don't work there anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the money was good. Yeah, the people were cool, but there was no organization in that organization.
Yeah, they couldn't organize a free
They couldn't
lunch.
fucking tell me, like I didn't even know how much I was getting paid until I got my first paycheck.
And I remember you weren't even sure when you got paid.
Yeah, there was so much important information that they didn't bother to even fucking tell us. So they ended up
Thought
holiday
you were getting
weekend.
money, but didn't get
it was
money.
like I was going to do stuff, but ended up not getting any money. Ended up having to borrow gas money from people, and I'm like, so now not only do I not have money to go do anything on this holiday weekend, I'm in the fucking hole.
Fuck.
So I ended up being stuck at home all weekend, which would have been okay, except that I had gotten a collected amount of maybe 8 hours of sleep over 4 days. So I spent half the weekend fucking asleep when I finally passed the hell out from not being able to be awake anymore, from being stressed the fuck out and doing, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't blow my arm up this year, which is nice.
Well, that's good.
Because last Memorial Day, you might remember, when Joshima
Yes.
was here, we had that fun story where I drunkenly exploded my arm.
I think that one was, and Josh is so hungover.
Yeah, that was
I can't remember
kinda
what the first
funny.
part was, but
I don't know. But
yes, you both were very hungover.
so none of that actually went on. But I finally got the fucking paycheck in the mail today because they mail the shit out on payday from, Texas. Fucking
holiday
retards.
weekend?
So yeah, I was like, great. Since I didn't get anything Friday, I was like, well, that means I'm not getting any money till Tuesday, and even then, I won't be able to get it until after I'm done work because of the time that mail comes to the house. But on the upside, I've got not but overtime all week,
which is
job
super awesome
because of the holiday.
That'll help you clear the deficit and be actually have
I'll
extra money
be
to do
on
stuff.
my way to
save money,
building
Oh,
a new
boy.
computer and things like that, and
Yay.
getting bills caught up and all that kind of stuff.
Yay.
Which is nice. So that's pretty good. And then let's see, working on some creative photo shoot type ideas with the girl. Got some neat ideas. Like I was texting her just now, bouncing some of the ideas that you and I were talking about before. I'm thinking of going the. I'll get some kind of props and things from like a toy store or something like that to make it make it look nifty. But I'm thinking about taking it in the pinup girl type direction, in the style of. You know how they in World War II they would paint the girls inside of the bombers and stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking about doing.
I have a whole book full of that.
As like that sort of come to life type of deal. Since we have the military fucking establishment to shoot at
and all that,
she has a really good dress, and it's funny because as I'm telling her about it, she's like, "Oh, I was thinking about doing my hair in a pinup girl type of way." So like,
there you go.
So we're on the same page there, and so that's
don't forget. By the way, don't forget the dog tags. Totally sells it. Plus, you got the tank top with the dog tags. I mean, there you go.
Yeah. That's easy enough.
Fucking squirrels.
Fucking squirrels.
They're so dead they don't even know.
Let's see. Other than that, playing WoW. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I have been playing. Well, that's all I could do this weekend is fucking play WoW. So I just geared up my mage a bit. Got a 487 eye level.
Oh,
which is okay, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Considering the new raids at 522.
You're getting there.
So, yeah, working up to it.
That's not so bad. Mine was, my weekend wasn't so bad. I did a little gardening on actual Memorial Day Monday. Set up because I got the peas. So I had to set up the special net thing so the peas can grow up it and shit. And put a lot of the seedlings in, melons, carrots, all that shit. That was kind of cool. That's kind of therapeutic and relaxing.
Nice.
Plus, it's one of those things where I'm not crazy prepper crazy, but it's one of those things where, okay, I don't necessarily think the world's going to end, but economically, eventually, something terrible's got to happen.
Does seem to be inevitable.
Yeah, eventually our money's going to be so inflated, it's going to be like Wehrmacht Republic.
It'll be like, you've read Snow Crash, right?
No.
Well, Snow Crash, great book, cyberpunk, written by Neil Stephenson, where it's set in the future in America, where the inflation has gone so crazy that there are like $100,000 bills that people just wipe their asses with because they're worthless.
Yeah, that sounds like you would have to.
It's funny because the book's old, like. It was written, I want to say like early 90s or something.
Well, preceding World War II is where the Wehrmacht Republic, that's been happening ever since. That was happening in Egypt. Ever since they had a centralized bank of any kind, and they abandoned a actual standard of precious metals, any kind of commodity-based denomination of currency. Once that breaks loose of that, inflation goes whee!
Yep.
Which is where we're at. It has happened so many times before. It will happen again. But I just wanted to be able to, during the Depression era, they always would have a garden kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, it had to.
Even if you have a job, money's tight. Because money,
you need to get
you're still getting paid the same amount, but you can buy less shit.
Yeah.
So the idea of being able to, and it's just nice to have fresh vegetables.
Oh, it was so cute today. One of the guys at work was saying about, 10 years, $10 worth of gas now is going to cost $25. And I was like, that is a super optimistic outlook on how gas prices
10 years, you might not be able to even get gasoline.
Yeah, I was like, you realize gasoline almost costs like $6 a gallon in California now, right? He's like, oh, really?
Yeah, and not because it's any harder to get, or there's less of it. No, because the petrodollar, has less buying power.
Yeah.
And the response to that by the Fed is, let's just print more. And then I'll get into that.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast.
Whole other podcast. But did some gardening.
Which is good. Grew some money.
And the exciting thing is that I made... I've been wanting to make shish kebabs for the longest time.
We were talking about shish kebabs today at work. This is crazy. Go on.
Let me tell you. This is officially the most complicated involved cooking I've done in my entire life. Oh, yes.
All right.
And I go crazy with sauces and stuff. And
I was about to say, that's got to be the only plate, like marinades and stuff would really be the only spot I could see it being complicated.
Contraire, mon frere.
Yeah, I mean, go on.
This is why. I go shopping, and I get the best shit. I'm like, go to the butcher, and I'm like, instead of just getting like shit that's all, I'm like, chop it up, tenderize it first. And it's like, so he shows me what's pretty tenderized, so I can get the best deal, but still get the best shit. I get You ever see those big shrimp rings for cocktail shrimp?
Yeah.
Like the jumbo size. I get 4 of those, 5 pounds of bacon. This is thick cut hickory smoked
giving
bacon.
Me a hard on.
Yes. I get 2 pounds of sausage, several pounds of the super good steaky steak.
Oh, yeah.
And
somebody I was talking about, just real quick, about steak on a shish kebab, because I had mentioned that as one of my put it on a shish kebab ingredients. And the person I was talking to was like, you put steak on there? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's chicken, onion, pepper, steak, onion, pepper, chicken, onion,
Yeah, it's fucking... Oh, okay, so I made a 4-meat shish kebab. I called a meaty 4-way.
I gotta go touch myself a little bit.
Yeah, 0... I've been doing the vegetarian thing. I totally was making up for all of that. There's zero... absolutely 0 vegetables involved because it was already so complicated. I didn't want to involve anything else.
Oh, it's good to just throw out, like, you get nice big slices of pepper and onion.
Oh, I know it was good. It's just I was almost out of my depth with just what I had on my plate, literally and figuratively. So, so I get the shrimp. I make a separate shrimp marinade for it, which is like a lemon and garlic, fresh cloves of garlic, freshly ground up, garlicky with some thyme. And I put some Italian dressing.
Did you say light
Italian
was on your
dressing in there. Oh, thyme was definitely on my side. And so I put that in. I removed all of the tails from it as well.
Right.
That's like 6,000 shrimp. That alone, Pete, took me over half an hour.
I was about to say that kills.
You can't do that more than one at a time, Pete. No. I really racked my brain to come up.
I worked at a seafood restaurant for a summer.
Oh, then you totally know.
I've done the shrimping thingy with that stuff and the scallops wrapped in bacon on toothpicks.
Oh my God.
For fucking banquets. I mean, so like we're talking thousands of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, and it takes forever, even when you're really going at it.
Yeah, even when they're big scallops and big pieces of bacon,
it takes forever.
That's your day. That's all you're doing.
I did the shrimp, put them in the marinade, put them in one of those jumbo Ziploc bags, put them in the refrigerator, rotating it every couple hours, so it was evenly seasoned. Took the steak, took it out. Heated it, marinated it with its own. I didn't heat it yet. That was on the next day.
Right.
Made its own separate marinade, a red wine vinaigrette with ground peppercorn, red peppers, a little bit of garlic. 'Cause I didn't want to go garlicky because that's what I had for the shrimp. So I was keeping it more peppery.
Ouch.
You're burning. I didn't want it too hot, Pete.
Hot.
Just hearing about it's too hot.
Oh, my goodness.
But
I peppered the shit out of my finger.
Totally put a little bit of the hickory smoke in with it, the hickory smoke extract, just because I really wanted to get that to the center of that meat, because I wanted to have this, because I was cooking it over propane gas grill.
Yeah.
So you can't get that hickory smoke thing.
Right.
But I still want the hickory smoke flavor. This is cool, though, because it gets it all the way when you put it in the marinade. And you marinate it overnight, it's all through the meat.
Yeah.
Well, fucking mwah,
that's
lovely.
The idea.
And it saves you time because you don't have to smoke the shit.
Right.
So marinade, boom, put it away. Sausage. Took the sausage, cut it up into, and this is the tricky part because I had to cut it so it was almost like the round wheelie kind of thing, so it slipped right on
Which
there.
is difficult with sausage sometimes.
Yes. It's easier when it's
frozen, actually.
Frozen, but I didn't have time to cut it and then thaw it. So I had it thawed, and I had to be real tricky and smart with the knife and fast, but slow at the right. God damn it!
I actually know what you're talking about.
Took it.
It's
pan fried it
tough.
just to cook it. But once again, I had to cook it, leaving about 10 to 15 minutes worth of time on the grill to be cooked because you can't overcook the shrimp on the grill.
Right, because shrimp cooks super fast.
Yes,
compared to the rest of the meats.
Totally
you're talking
can't
about.
overcook it.
No,
you totally can't.
Fuck it up.
And I use bamboo skewers.
Oh my goodness!
So you can't overcook it.
Up in this motherfucker.
I can't do metal because it fucks with the experience. If you're biting into it and you bite too hard, they're too
those
hot.
of us with sensitive teeth, that will fuck your day up.
Totally one of those guys.
It can metal can do bad things to the flavor.
And if it's too hot, you have to wait for that to cool off, which means the
fuck up
food's
your
cooling
flavor.
off. Totally not what I wanted to do. So bamboo skewers, which by the way, an hour and a half beforehand, I soaked in ice cold water because this way they don't burn as much on the grill because that burning bamboo smoke is totally not what you want. So and then we splashed forward. I did a proof of concept. I cooked 4 pieces of bacon just to make one unmarinated, just to prove that I could make this happen. Wrap it, and it would survive on the grill. And it actually tasted pretty decent, and it held together wonderfully. So next day, boom, 3 hours beforehand, I pull out the steak, and I fire up the grill, and I cook it on the grill so it has about 10 to 15 minutes left to cook over a low heat. Set it aside. Took out everything else. And then I got to pan fry all the bacon till it had 10 minutes left to 15 minutes left to cook on a grill over low heat. Because you need it pliable to wrap it up.
Yep.
And you don't want to undercook bacon.
Nope.
Totally don't want to underdo it. Don't want to necessarily overdo it either because then it's dry and brittle and the texture's wrong for what you want. You want it to be
It's a very difficult balancing act between all the stuff that's all very precise.
Everything on the shish kebab, you're juggling.
Yep.
So,
because you got shrimp cooked super quick, bacon you can fuck up easy, but needs to be cooked properly. Sausage needs to be cooked all the way through,
and you can't cook it too fast. But you're cooking it too slow, and you don't rotate it enough. The juices will drip off, and it'll be dry.
Yep.
So you're constantly. So it took me almost an hour to construct the shish kebabs. Knowing that now I will do everything that I just mentioned before, the day before, construct shish kebabs, put them on cookie sheet, cover them with aluminum foil, keep them in fridge. Next day, put them on grill. Be just as fine. Because essentially all those parts were pretty much done beforehand. Yeah. Pan frying the bacon. This is the last part of my little story, which was just epic. Is totally, and when I got about a pound and a half in, I totally lost all love of cooking. I would not be a good, even with 2 pans, I would not be a very good short order chef because I hated it. I hated the burning of the grease on me, which my mother-in-law's like, because the entire stovetop was desecrated.
Oh, well, yeah, after all that much bacon, absolutely.
I'm surprised I didn't have an explosion of a grease fire. God protected me on that one because there's no other excuse why I didn't die. But I realized, of course, you can't cook bacon in front of hungry people and not have bacon for them to eat. Yeah. So I made about a half a pound I had setting aside finished so they could just nibble could I get at this? I'm like, yes, at this. I made a 6-inch high. And no, that's about a foot.
I was about to say, that's a big 6 inches
10-inch
there,
high
sir. Is that what you tell all the women?
Of bacon.
It's about 6 inches.
Yeah, I don't want to scare them. And about a 8 to 10-inch high tower of bacon, 5-strip by 5-strip construction. I'm like, wow, this is almost... I feel like I should be giving an offering to this. This is incredible. Before I finally made the shish kebabs and cooked them, and I was so nervous. Like, oh man, I hope these are good. And I gave them out to everybody before I got mine, and everyone else is eating them. And I bit into them. I'm like, oh my God, this turned out exactly as good as I wanted it to. So it was a huge success. People were begging for leftovers. One skewer puts you into a fucking meat coma because it's about a pound of meats, purest meat, unadulterated meats. Zero. You're not cutting it down like you would cut cocaine with anything else. This is just raw shit. It was so good. Oh, God.
Sounds boner-inspired.
Oh, it was so fucking good. And that is my What's New.
That is a delicious What's New, sir.
Oh, it certainly was. I can't wait to do it again sometime on a much smaller scale.
Yeah, when you don't have to feed the entire family for a holiday.
Yeah. Let's jump into our best of Mike Tyson quotes.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a lot of
we've all been waiting for.
Ridiculousness to cover here. Some of which were gathered from Mike Tyson's Details magazine interview.
Oh yeah.
Some from after fight interviews, and some I gathered also just from various sundry sources on the internet because this is just fucking ridiculously funny shit. So if you like what you hear, there's more out there, and you want to hear more. Go investigate it. Give a hit to the other people's websites who've constructed these. It's funny.
There's no shortage of these.
This is the tip of the Mike. We're biting off the tip of the Mike Tyson iceberg here.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah, I fucking went. So all those disclaimers aside,
tip of the lobe.
This was actually shocking. I put it at the head of the list here. I never heard about this before, especially during the election. I'm surprised this wasn't front page news.
Okay.
Sarah Palin had an affair with black basketball star Glenn Rice back in the day.
Huh.
She was a news reporter, actually, a sports news reporter.
I did not know that.
Way back when. Fucking cannot believe this wasn't front page everything during the fucking thing because she's missed conservative morals.
Yeah.
It's like... you fucked like a basketball star, like the typical, like Wilt Chamberlain thing to do. You fucking did it. That's like, I'm not even talking about like the whole like, racial like, angle to it. I'm talking strictly
stereotypical.
Yeah,
like
it would be like if you fucked Gene Simmons from Kiss. That's what this is, but in sports. So evidently this happens. I didn't know. I was like, what? So this is from him speaking on, Mike Tyson speaking on Sarah Palin's affair with black basketball star Glenn Rice. Quote, Glenn Rice is a wonderful man. He's a wonderful guy, Tyson said. But you want her to be with somebody like Dennis Rodman, getting up in there, pushing her guts up into the back of her head. Mike Tyson, you fucking...
That's fucking awesome.
Fucking Mike Tyson. So this is the flavor. This is the appetizer of the meal we're about to have. And here's some more random stuff. I just have this thing inside me that wants to eat and conquer. Maybe it's egotistical, but I have it in me. I don't want to be a tycoon. I just want to conquer people and their souls. So a lot of these are from post and pre-fight where he's all amped up.
Yeah.
So he's exceptionally fucking raw. And of course, you know, you have the Robin Williams thing. Not Robin Williams. He wasn't married to Robin Williams.
Wow.
Robin Williams is a dude and a comedian.
I'm
but
sure.
That would be hilarious. Robin...
Like the birdcage, but with Mike Tyson and Robin Williams.
Could you imagine that? Bitch, I said shut the fuck up. Oh, shut the fuck up. Okay, I guess I'll shut the fuck up. Oh, don't traumatize me.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's right.
Oh, I bit my ear off. Hello. I only have one ear to give for my country. Oh, just shut the fuck up, I told you. Dude, their domestics would be hilarious.
That needs to happen.
Oh, my God.
That
I wish we had like a visual podcast thing because we could totally make a little spoofy skit about that. Put that in our to-do column.
Noted. Yeah. Well, right there.
Next was just a interview with a reporter. They determined that you were suffering from depression, low self-esteem, and that you had problems with anger management. How have you tried to address those problems? Tyson, that's all they said that was wrong with me? And he was genuinely surprised in the interview.
What's wrong with me?
He was like, what, really? I thought I was worse than that. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's not bad.
This is just so charming. You almost think this can't be real. It's
the realest of the real.
I saw the actual interview with it, and it's just to die for. The silence in the studio. When he said this is just incredible. It's awe-inspiring almost. This is whilst being interviewed by a female reporter.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Go on.
This is him. Quote, "It's no doubt I'm going to win this fight, and I feel confident about winning this fight." And then he sort of gets a little softer in his speech. He's like, "I normally don't do interviews with women unless I fornicate with them. So you shouldn't talk anymore unless you want to, you know." It's like, are you coming on to her? I can't tell. Or are you just being a sexist, degrading asshole? I don't understand.
Do you actually know what the word fornicate means?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he knows what that means. He actually is a smarter guy than most people give him credit for. Because you'll look at some of the things he says, like the words he uses, and they're apropos. Like he did a lot of reading in prison. Like Tyson out of prison, before prison, different Tysons.
Yeah.
Because, he self-educated himself a lot. He's been through a lot. But
one would self-educate oneself, yes.
Well, yeah, especially in prison. But this next one, he's just talking about a fight. He says, "I try to catch him right on the tip of his nose because I try to punch the bone into the brain.
But instead I caught him on the tip of his ear with my teeth."
But I mean, he basically said he wants to murder somebody in the ring.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's not boxing. That's homicide, Mr. Tyson.
Hey, shit happens.
This next one goes to his flair for. I love when he uses larger, dramatic, bombastic vocabulary. Because I'm the same kind of asshole.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, but
which is always funny when the BTUs have no idea what you're talking about.
But I never talk about murdering somebody. He does. This is great. My power is discombobulatingly devastating. I could feel his muscle tissues collapse under my force. It's ludicrous these mortals even attempt to enter my realm. It's like, are you talking about boxing or Dungeons and Dragons?
No, I'm like fucking Zeus over here.
I can't tell. My warrior's like a level 15. He's discombobulatingly powerful.
Oh, so good.
This is Tyson, who he wanted to humiliate Tyrell Biggs. If solely for the fact that Biggs had won a gold medal in the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. So he's like an Olympic boxer. He won a gold medal. Tyson's totally not an Olympic anything.
Yeah.
So he wanted to totally humiliate him. So he says, I was hitting him with body punches and I hurt him. Actually, he was crying in there, making women gestures. Like, I can't define it, but I knew he was going to break down soon.
Wow.
And
making women gestures.
And he was crying like my wife. So that's just like so.
He was crying like my wife when I beat her.
I know. That's what. When you know about his history, you're like, oh my God, Michael.
He was crying. He was crying like people asking for an autograph.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right. I remember things.
More random Mike Tyson. I love to hit people. I love to. Most celebrities are afraid someone's going to attack them. I want someone to attack me. No weapons, just me and him. I like to beat men and beat them bad. There's a man who really enjoys.
I'm about to say he enjoys his
endeavors.
profession.
Yes, sir. ESPN's Jeremy Shop. Where do you go from here, Mike Tyson? I don't know, man. I guess I'm going to fade into Bolivian. Yes, he said Bolivian. That was just the best. Just the best right there.
I want to fade away into Elder Scrolls 4.
He's like,
with my warrior, my discombobulating power.
I want to fade into Peru. All right? So you want to travel the world. I want to fight people and get married to wives across the globe and then just beat them into Bolivian.
Into Bolivia.
This is him retelling a story from his youth, I believe. Oh, no, this wasn't from his youth.
Bolivia. That reminds me of a 67 states thing that happened in real life.
A real
recently.
life Facebook fail?
Yeah, no, well, sort of. It was somebody we were talking about. What the fuck were we talking about?
The state
we're
of
asking
Bolivia?
about. Well, somebody was like talking about how New York was a state, and then I messed up my own setup. It was a weird thing about Russia being a state or something like that, and I was like, no, that's not a country. That's a weird state. It's like, what do they teach you in school?
I don't think they teach anything anymore. This next one, he was talking about one of his pigeons that died, kind of recently, actually. He said, one morning I woke up and found my favorite pigeon, Julius, had died. I was devastated and was going to use his crate as my stickball bat to honor him, which is kind of touching in a way.
Yeah, sort of.
It's sort of strange, but touching, because I know how he is about his pigeons and shit. You know what I mean? Like his first real fight in life was somebody killed one of his pigeons, and he just fucking hauled off and beat the shit out of him. So it's kind of cool, you know, in a way that he respects such a fragile form of life. You know what I mean? That's actually kind of touching. He said, I left the crate on my stoop and went in to get something, and I returned to see the sanitation man put the crate into the crusher. I rushed him and caught him flush on the temple with a titanic right hand. He was out cold, convulsing on the floor like an infantile retard. So any karma points you might have gotten, you just totally went back into the red.
Infantile retard. That's awesome.
And he's describing the person that he brutally assaulted in the head. The fucking garbage man who was doing his job.
I hit him so hard he went infantile. Fucking retard.
It's not like the guy said, excellent, I will take this and I will totally destroy this and fuck with this man. No, he just saw what he perceived to be trash and was helping him out by throwing it away. Here's a few more random ones. I just want to conquer people and their souls.
So good.
Another one. I'm on the Zoloft to keep from killing y'all. That was him during an interview. It's a nice disclaimer to add in the beginning, you know. I'm on the Zoloft to keep from killing all of you. This is him discussing Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis, I'm coming for you, man. My style's impetuous. My defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
I want to eat his children.
I love that. I've heard a slang being used when you're swallowing a man's semen, saying that you're eating his children.
Gross.
And so that I would never suggest this, Mr. Tyson, if by some bizarre chance you hear this. Much respect, praise be to Allah. And I admire Tyson in a certain degree because he's just such a character. he's so ferocious and powerful.
He was
and
on,
strong, and people are so fucking terrified of him.
He was on a Comedy Central roast.
He was in The Hangover too.
I think it was on. I think it was Charlie Sheen's roast.
Yes.
You see that with Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah.
Well, they were. I was listening to one of the.
He's fun. He's actually a funny, witty guy.
He's a really funny guy. But the John Lovitz was there too, and I was listening to the Hollywood Babylon podcast, and Kev Smith was away doing something, so Lovitz was on with Ralph Garman, and Lovitz was talking about like the shit they didn't show you on Comedy Central.
I totally got to hear that.
And one of the things was Knoxville. His goal was to get Tyson to give him a black eye, but not by Tyson actually punching him, but by Tyson holding his hand out and Knoxville just running into it.
Yeah,
And so Lovitz was talking about how he just kept on trying to like dive into his hand and missing and missed and missed, and he finally ended up like breaking his own nose on Tyson's fist. And then he was saying that Mike was just like, hey, look, don't hurt yourself too bad. I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Yeah, because essentially to him, Knoxville is like a pigeon.
A frail, fragile little thing, all
Tyson,
sober and stuff.
I admire his ferociousness and his strength, his energy, his uncompromising Tysonness. He doesn't have to be a nice guy. That's the thing about people don't understand. He doesn't have to be a nice guy or even a gentleman. You can't rape people. That's totally not cool. But he reminds me of someone that was gifted with all this strength, which is physical and just his ferociousness.
Brutal force. This guy,
which is driven by that ferociousness in the ring. He had this ferociousness which was unseen and hasn't been matched since.
Yeah.
Just raw. He changed boxing by that. Before it was a pugilistic sport, and he brought this incredible, this fucking unstoppable force shit to it. This fucking raw to it. And on top of that, he's black. So he's a powerful, strong black man. That's fucking terrifying. And I don't like that whole stereotype of white people that they're going to be terrified. You're just terrified of a black man with strength and power. Usually it's like, no, it's because you did this asshole thing.
Right.
But there is some truth to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the same.
It's not just white people that are scared of that, though. It's also women that are scared of it.
Well, and even then, like, he's a big, strong, intimidating guy. But, so he's black. But really, no matter, like, anybody with that much strength and ferocity is a scary fucking dude.
Yes, absolutely.
No matter of, like, what else they look like.
Skin color is not really a thing. But there is, especially during the 80s, when he was first coming into his thing, there was still a lot of, now not as much as people who make money off of social causes would like us to think, but there's not as much racism in the world as we think. It's not as much of a thing as, yes, it's there, and it's there like everything is always going to be there. Rape and
all the horrible
mugging
things
and all the horrible things, they're fucking there. Yes, they're there, and we should try to extinguish them. Yes, well, I understand this, but it's not like it fucking used to be. But there's something to him. There is a set of rules to dealing with Mike Tyson, and you can exist in the sphere of Mike Tyson by following these rules. And I can totally understand that because I have not the same rules, but I have a same code of shit I absolutely will not tolerate in front of me.
Yeah.
And will respond in an escalating stages.
Yep.
And I will make it very clear, which some people will think is very scary and violent. You're getting to this next fucking stage, and the next stage is this, because I want everyone to understand, look, if you go beyond this, we're going to go to this.
Yeah.
You need to understand this, because I totally don't want it to go to this next level, but I'm going to throw everything I have at you. And I appreciate that about him. In a way, he is almost, he reminds me of the Hound from the Game of Thrones. He's done terrible things, but he does have a set of rules to him.
Right.
And I hate to get lost in Tyson world here, but prognosticate, let's discuss Tyson. But there is that to him. So there is a little bit more to Mike Tyson than you think, including a sense of humor that a lot of people don't quite get. Because they're just like, no, there's other funny people I can joke around with who there isn't a potential for fucking murder. Where he will strike me and I will lay there like an infantile retard convulsing from head trauma. So,
Yeah, when Gotham isn't active, then you have my permission to die.
Yeah. He's almost like Bane, but with an even sillier voice. Yes, here's another one to Lennox Lewis. I want to rip out his heart and feed it to him. I want to kill people. I want to rip their stomachs out and eat their children.
Delicious.
Like, as you rip their stomach out. That's terrible, but at least you haven't eaten my children. Check this out. Nom, 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 nom.
Oh, delicious. You should have marinated this one longer.
And I'm going to put pieces of your children into your stomach I just ripped out. Technically, you just ate your own children's. Because I'm diabolical.
And then I'll make you eat the shit that you shit out.
Yes. And now I'm just going to pull your bowels out and squirt them into your stomach. You just ate your own shit, player. I'm diabolical.
That's not chocolate. That's doo-doo, baby.
So, and then also in Lennox Lewis, I'm the most brutal and ruthless conqueror there has ever been. So he gets very pumped up.
Yeah. It's almost like he's playing a character of this brutal conqueror.
Like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Who brought a certain, he had a gravitas to him, and he brought a certain showmanship to it, which didn't exist beforehand. And it almost got him in kind of trouble because he also kind of had his own principles, like about the Vietnam War, where he was like, dude, I don't want to go to the Vietnam War. They're like, no, we'll give you a really cushy thing, but it's important to draft famous people because this way we can build up support for the war. He's like, why? It's not a good war. We have no fucking business over there. I have no business over there. If you want to go over there, that's fine with you, but why would I go over there and kill people who've never called me a nigger over there? For people who have called me a nigger here, I'm going to go over there and kill people who never called me a nigger before? Fuck that. I'm not doing that. That never caused me no trouble. I want to stay here and box. I'm going to do what I do. And they're like, and then of course, once you're stepping outside that paradigm, because back then it wasn't just the whole status paradigm, it was the racist status paradigm.
Right.
They're like, you're not being a good little boy. We don't like you no more. So then they really fucked with him. But he stuck to his guns. But in that whole vein, yes, Tyson took it to a new level, turned it into this ferocious, kind of scary warrior, almost Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome level of just raw, which was entertaining. It was entertaining because you didn't know what the fuck was going to come out of his mouth. For guys like you and me, that's fucking show business.
Yep. Could have been a piece of an ear. Could have been a funny statement. Who knows?
For people who are looking for more sportsmanship and pugilism, they might be shocked by that. But for us, we're like, wow,
it's brilliant is what it is.
I love this shit.
Give me some more. What else you got, Tyson?
And to our last little section on our new segment here was him on someone called Razor Ruddock. Evidently, some sort of a boxer. I don't know.
I imagine with a name like Razor, I'm sure he's a sharp fella.
I've been dabbling into the more bombastic characters from boxing, learning about them, and it's interesting. Not necessarily watching boxing, but learning about their choices they made and how they're innovators. So I find that interesting. Innovators in anything are interesting to me, regardless of whether it's film or boxing or whatever. I find that cool. On Razor Ruddock. Oh my God, it's so fucked up. I can't even do this with a straight face. Hold on. Just to do the Tyson voice, I have to have my mouth right. All right.
Yeah, you can't be doing it when you're all smiling.
So you're gonna make me laugh, Pete. Shut up.
Sorry.
All right. You apologize to the Tyson voice. Just made it worse. All right.
I'm sorry, I'm just so diabolically, disgustingly strong.
And just coming out of him with that voice makes us crazier. You're sweet. I'm going to make sure you kiss me good night with those big lips. I'm going to make you my girlfriend. That's it's like that's almost endearing. It's almost endearing, except for the violence, which you'll need to force him to do that.
Make you my girlfriend. You're gonna sit down to pee.
If he was actually gay, I'd be like, "Oh, he's like Captain Jack level gay. He's just like, rawr, I'm out there and I don't care."
I'm gonna make you kiss me. You're gonna be my girlfriend, savvy.
But instead, he's like, "I'm all prison rapey about it and I don't care." And that's not so cool, Tyson. That's not so cool. Another one. This one's just fucking insane. This is insane, but it's hilarious. Oh my God.
Insanely hilarious.
You're going to fucking love this.
I can't hardly wait.
I saved the best for last. I paid a worker at New York Zoo to reopen it just for me and Robin Givens, his wife at the time. When we got to the gorilla cage, there was one big silverback gorilla there just bullying all the other gorillas. They were so powerful, but their eyes were like an innocent infant. I offered the attendant $10,000 to open the cage and let me smash that silverback snot box. He declined. I would pay $1 million
to watch that.
That's fucking entertainment. To watch in the ring in this corner an 800-pound silverback bully. In the other corner, Mike Tyson.
That would be a fight.
Either way, I think Mike Tyson would hold his own.
Oh, he'd probably win, too.
I don't know. Even if he didn't win, I think he and the gorilla...
They'd go a couple rounds.
The gorilla would buy him like a bunch of bananas, at least. So because that would be fucking incredible. The greatest, most violent walking warrior of mankind versus a silverback gorilla who is also a bully.
Yeah.
Dude. Holy
Why
shit.
is he bullying them other gorillas? Here's $10,000.
I'm tired of bullying and raping human beings. I want to switch to other species.
He looks like he put up a good fight.
PETA would lose their minds.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And then they protest and they probably whoop all their asses.
Which would also be amazing.
Which would also be cool. He probably would kick.
This feels like a win-win to me.
Mike Tyson wouldn't even get tired beating every PETA member to death. Like, not just every PETA member at the protest.
Just all of them
all
in the
PETA
world.
members everywhere could show up.
Oh, snap.
And he, all at once, could gang fight him. He would kill them all. It would be incredible.
So good. And we
After fighting the gorilla.
Then we just got to turn him loose on the Westboro Baptist Church and we're good.
Oh, my God, I would fucking love that. I would love... Mike Tyson could be such a force for good in our society. Like, we're going about this all wrong.
Well, see, I also think that he'd be like the One Ring. You'd want to use him for good.
Yes, but eventually...
But you would be corrupted.
He'd go all jailhouse rapey, and I'd be drunk, he'd be drunk, like, watch me go fuck this dude over there. And I'd be like,
hey, that's a great idea.
Fuck it, that guy's been annoying me all night. Do it.
Fuck him with your fist in his eye.
Why think I'm raping this faggot? And I'm like, yeah. And then some little Jiminy Cricket on my shoulder is like, Carl, I know you're completely fucking out of your mind on champagne right now that Tyson bought for you because he's so cool. But raping somebody is not cool, even if you don't like that dude. I'm like,
of course, the Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder is actually a llama. Carl,
you can't let people do this. I'm like, it's totally cool. I'm videotaping this. I'm going to get 1 million hits, and our podcast is going to go
bigger than
sky
Gangnam
high.
Style.
This is great. But,
that'd be awesome.
All right, our last two on Razor Ruddock. I wish one of you guys, speaking to a bunch of reporters, had kids so I could kick them in the fucking head or something. or stomp on their testicles so you can feel my pain. 'Cause that's the pain I have waking up every day. That's insane. That's awesome. Said he wanted to kick the children in the head or stomp the children's testicles.
So the reporters could feel his pain.
Yeah, it's like, Mike, I'm not sure
So when you wake up, you feel like someone's stomping on the testicles of your children.
Yeah,
okay.
Mike, I don't think you quite understand the kind of pain.
That's an awful lot of referred pain.
Yeah, and lastly, and this is short, but it's so charming, is I can't make this shit up. It's perfect. If I had to sum up his character, this says everything about him right here. They call me a rapist and a recluse. I'm not a recluse. Mwah! Tyson, you're the best.
So good.
You're the best. And that's our ridiculous Mike Tyson quote.
Oh.
We've got a whole bunch more. I'm going to save them for another fucking mini segment because much like one of my meaty shish kebabs, it's a lot of comedy to eat in one go.
Yeah, you have to take it one at a time and let it digest. Let the meaty juices flow over your ear holes.
And then he'll bite out the ear holes.
He'll give you an extra one.
And of course,
more juices.
I'm still ravenously hungry from talking about those shish kebabs earlier. And I have exactly 0 leftovers. Which sucks, because I sure as fuck ain't buying all that shit and going through it again.
No, it sounds like a few days worth of work.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm just going to go inside and just go hog wild on some cheese raviolis and shit. With some really new, awesome squash spaghetti sauce.
Ooh.
Instead of tomatoes, they use squash.
Interesting.
Dude, it's fucking... You know how I'm sure everyone knows this by now. I'm a bit of a food fag.
A touch, yeah.
I can't just take a jar of sauce and put it in there without doing a ton of shit to it to make it fabulous.
It's not... Yeah, just stock sauce is boring.
This shit, I do nothing to, Pete.
Oh, wow.
Not just because I'm lazy or because it's good, because I don't want to fuck with its perfection.
Huh.
I'm going to find out its name, and I'll read it on the show next show. But because it deserves a plug.
Wow.
It's
and
it's so unconventional. The squash is just a little sweet, and you can tell there's almost a squash to it, but there's a cheesiness and it's just there's a spicing scheme to it, and the consistency is much thicker than ordinary sauce.
So you don't need as much.
You don't need as much, and you don't want it for like a spaghetti or something.
Okay.
It's more for like a medium shell or a stuffed shell or larger size cheese raviolis.
Okay, something where you don't really need a ton of sauce. Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's fucking incredible stuff. I'm going to find out just to plug it because I get excited about stuff and I want to share with the world.
Yeah.
But speaking of sharing with the world and getting excited about stuff, we got some weird news tonight.
Weird news. Do you want to? Yeah.
But speaking of sharing with the world and getting excited about stuff, we got some weird news tonight.
Weird news. Do you want to? I have one of my patented weird news stories.
We will start with that. Let me give our disclaimers here, some of which have been brought to you by way of Chuck Shepard's newsofweird.com, some from the Smoking Gun, Huffington Post, and some from random sorted APR news sources scattered throughout the interwebs. And some from Pete's iPhone. That being said,
that's just the interwebs.
I just like to give my pickups, even though legally I don't necessarily have to. I just like to do that to show respect.
No, it's
Plus,
good.
Chuck Shepard has a lot of, seriously, I've said it before, Chuck Shepard has a lot of funny stuff on his website for weird news. He goes out of his way to find these things, and I totally grab some of them and cherry pick them and bring them in here. I usually do follow-up research to make sure that they came from the thing, and sometimes I won't even use his version because he shortens it and puts his own funny in it, which is usually funny, but I think we can do our own thing that fits our own thing better. So I'll get the raw news story
more natural
and stick it in there.
Way.
But big ups to that and the Smoking Gun. Check them out. They're very funny. Pete's. I want to hear Pete's story because it's usually very tragically funny, and it's nice to try to have 100 palate cleansers afterwards to erase the tragedy from my mind. Pete, lay the details on.
Well, this one hits home with the tragedy and the China.
That's two of our favorite things to feel bad about. Go ahead, Pete.
So good. So in China, in I believe it was a department store, a woman complained, or I don't know if she complained, but she made note to management that she heard some strange noises coming from like somewhere, and I guess the bathroom. She heard some strange noises. So upon inspection, they did, like, the workers in this place heard the same strange noises, and they're like, oh, where's it coming from? Oh, it's coming from the pipe. So they got some plumbers in there.
Oh, my God, no. You know what? You're terrible, Pete. I couldn't even read this news story. It was that terrible. Do continue, though, because what I said earlier, this will so totally do exactly to me what I said Pete's fucking stories do to me. Because I was on Facebook, I'm like, la, 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 and I just saw the picture and the title. I went, oh, my God, no! And I couldn't even look at it. I had to run in and check on my children. Pete, be a stereotypical... Pete, take it up a notch. Double down on your fucking Pete. Go ahead, tell your fucking story.
So,
God damn it.
The Chinese plumbers take apart the plumbing and come to find out, like, they're like, oh, it must be some kind of sounds like something's alive in there. So they open it up and they're like,
oh my
and
God.
The story, I saw this story on Philip DeFranco's daily news show, and he says, was it A, baby alligator, B, I forget what B was, but it was like B, like
a living wonton noodle,
a skunk or something, and you already know it's going to be C, a 2-day-old baby. No. That's right, 2-day-old baby lodged in the sewer pipes that apparently this mother flushed her baby down the toilet.
No, oh my God.
It took doctors a long fucking time to get this 2-day-old baby out of the pipe.
Positive shit pipe.
Positive note: the child is healthy and doing just fine.
So it's that's the only way I could. I might have skimmed because they said they rescued him and is alive. Like, oh my God,
kid's fine. And the woman who reported it is supposedly the mother, but they're not entirely sure. They're still investigating.
Ordinarily, I'm not for draconian, terrible murder punishment type things.
But oh no, that's some fucked up shit right there.
This is one of those times where the state and I fall completely, and draconian policies fall completely into sync. There's some shit which I don't care if Adolf Hitler murders this bitch. She deserves a horrible, horrible... Send her on her way so that she can come back as something else and learn her lessons. Yeah.
When even I'm making
God
Facebook posts about how awful something is,
it's just...
Wow.
The fact that the baby's healthy and they rescued it...
That's a fucking miracle right there.
Is a miracle, and it's like, yes, but the fact that I'm... that my world exists in that same world makes me inordinately depressed for the species.
Well, at least it's on the other side of the world.
It doesn't matter because the Chinese are very smart people on the whole.
Yeah.
And I hate hearing shit like this. It just makes me sad that any human being would do this. God damn it. But at least that kid's going to have some awesome icebreakers for conversations. When and there's got to be some kind of a charity fund or something drummed up where people will donate. Please make sure this kid had a real shitty beginning to their life.
Me Chinese, me play joke, me put
flush
baby
child into
your
fucking shit pipe. That's terrible. No, there's no way we can. This is just terrible. Pete, you managed to do it.
It's been a couple of weeks since I've told some really awful, awful weird news.
You did it, Pete. You made it worse. Congratulations.
Hey, anything I can do to help. Now everything after this will seem extra hilarious.
And bright.
See,
and
that's what we do.
Yes. Oh, my God.
I'm proud of myself for that one.
Our first story is called Cock-a-Doodle Did. How do you go from that to that? Oh, my God. I just feel so out of place now. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like we need a whole other hour to the show.
The last 3 people that are listening now.
They have it turned off to go hug their moms or go check on their sleeping children or adopt a litter of kittens from the SPCA, something. Or just check their local sewer manhole cover, lift it up to check, make sure there's no children in there. Cock-a-doodle did. The Department of Agriculture reported recently that in 4 of America's largest cities, New York, Miami, Los Angeles, and Denver, nearly 1 home out of 100 keeps chickens, either for a fresh egg supply or as pets. I have a distinct feeling that Miami and even Los Angeles fucks up the bell curve on this because you have a lot of Cubans, a lot of Hispanic people are big on the birds.
Right.
They love them birds, which is cool. I mean, the fighting is kind of fucked up, but
yeah.
I would really totally should start keeping chickens because free eggs are awesome, and I love.
True.
French toast is awesome. And I'd love to not pay for. I love the fact that I can take chicken feed, which is $1 for a ton, and get awesome eggs I can eat and make French toast out of them. I think that a chicken that takes near garbage and turns it into eggs is just a wonderful mystery to me, and I love that sort of thing. I just
it's kind of brilliant, isn't it?
I want to go back in time and hug whatever one of our fucking primitive ancestors said, I got an idea, and made that happen. I was like, good idea, man.
We save these to make more chickens. We take these to make more breakfast.
It's just a win-win. The chickens aren't killed by predators. We eat them occasionally, but they eat really well for a while and aren't tortured till we cut their heads off. But at least we don't flush their children down toilets.
Do it humanely or something. You don't flush them down a toilet.
Never. Not even in China. Nearly 1 home out of 100 keeps chickens, either for fresh egg supply or as pets, giving rise to chicken services such as Backyard Poultry Magazine, MyPetChicken.com, and Julie Baker's Pampered Poultry Store.
All right.
Among the most popular products are strap-on cloth diapers. Let me clarify that.
All right, I'm about to say that's not where I thought that was
My God,
going.
it's a cock with a cock. Run!
Hey.
For the occasions when owners bring their darling pets indoors, i.e. cuddle with their lap chickens. Also popular are saddles for roosters. I know what you're thinking because you have the same look I did when I read that.
Yeah.
To spare hens mating injuries owing to roosters' brutal horniness, sometimes costing hens most or all of their back feathers from a single encounter. That's from the NPR.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because at first I'm like...
What the fuck is going to ride on a rooster?
And what? Even none of this is making any sense at all.
No,
why would
sir,
you?
I don't get it.
Why? They say why don't spare the horses. You can't spare the rooster if you're riding it, because you're pretty much fucking killing
the rooster,
and it's dead because you sat on it. This next one's from our government incompetence mini segment I like to have.
Always a good time.
Always good for a laugh to our governments, not just here, but across the planet. The Washington Post reported in April that the federal government is due to spend $890,000 this year to safeguard absolutely nothing.
Well, somehow that actually makes sense.
That's not hyperbole. No, they mean literally nothing. And right now, we're laughing, but you're doing the same thing I did. You're thinking,
what the fuck?
What? Even for governments, that's a stretch. I don't even think it's possible to be that stupid. Au contraire, mon frère. $890,000. The amount is the total fees for maintaining more than 13,000 short-term bank accounts that the government owns, but which have no money in them and never again will have money in them. Now, because it's become more convoluted, you're like, you've just made it more confusing.
Less sense. Yeah.
Yes. Closing the accounts is easier said than done, according to the watchdog group Citizens Against Government Waste, because the accounts each housed separate government grants, and Congress has required that before the accounts are closed, the grants must be formally audited, something bureaucrats rarely ever do and are certainly rarely ever are motivated to do, at least within the 100 days set by law. There is no penalty for missing the deadline, but you just can't do it anymore. That's from the Washington Post. So they just have to keep...
Just lighting money on fire.
Keeping these bank accounts, for which will never legally be used again for anything ever, legally ever, but that money keeps going there. Yeah.
Oh, all of that sucks.
See our previous comments about wheelbarrows full of useless currency.
I just want to eat your children.
Yeah. Let's turn Mike Tyson loose. Could you imagine if everyone was actually accountable to him?
Oh, that'd be great.
Dude, Washington, D.C. would fucking straighten out their shit in like
or they
a
would
day.
all be dead.
A day. Or they would be just...
Look at that. I hate Newt Gingrich in the fucking head. He's laying there like an infantile retard. Where's Joe Biden? I'm going to bite that motherfucker's ear off. Dude, that would be great.
That'd be awesome.
Obama, don't start your shit. I'll fuck you up. I'll make you my girlfriend. I'll hit you so hard I'll knock all the black off you. You'll be white again.
It'd be ridiculous.
Again.
I'll hit your ass so hard you'll land in Kenya with the rest of your family, you fucked up motherfucker. I bit Nancy Pelosi's whole head off.
You bit her head off?
I just wanted to bite her ear, but she's like a mummy. The whole thing came off. It got powder in my mouth. I sneezed. It's ridiculous. I just fucked Sarah Palin because she kept on interviewing me. Yeah, but I pushed her guts up in her fucking head. Oh, Dennis Rodman style. I'm not a recluse.
Dude,
I know Spider.
It's just awesome.
It's me, Maria.
Sorry, Pete. I left about the other day and I had to stick it in somewhere. Spider rape in your face. Tyson rape in your ear. Okay, Congress established a national helium reserve.
Oh, good.
In 1925.
Okay.
In the era of Zeppelin balloons, because, they were actually being used. It was a serious endeavor.
Right, Hindenburg.
It was a national interest thing.
Then that whole hydrogen thing went up in smoke.
Well, it was helium, even though, but that whole thing, it was like, great, we have Zeppelins. Now we have planes going so fast that Zeppelins are absolutely totally useless for anything except for having long metal cords attached to them to fuck with bombers. That's all they're useful for, as to get in the way of the planes. We don't care if they get crashed into. But after that, totally useless. But most consider it no longer
useful. Except for advertising Goodyear.
Yeah, but most, that is, ranging from President Reagan to Democratic congressmen who in 1996 called it one program that, if we cannot undo it, quote, we cannot undo anything, end quote. The House of Representatives recently voted 394-1 to continue funding it because of fears of a shortage that might affect MRI machines and, of course, party balloons. From the Washington Post.
Well, I'm with you on the party balloons.
Yeah, but
what the fuck do MRIs use helium for?
Actually looked into that. It's part of one of the doohickeys involved in it.
Oh, okay.
It uses an extremely small amount of helium.
Well, actually, I mean, I knew about the reserve, and I knew that helium's actually because it's like really hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
because it's all
the only places that helium comes from are the sun and like
it's a trace element.
And like pockets of it underground and shit. They accidentally find actually I believe they accidentally found it while drilling for oil.
I've been working on the oil mine, just digging through rock. Yeah, once you find it, eureka! Glug 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 glug. You're dead.
Hey. You guys think we hit some helium?
Yeah, that's the sort of thing you would send Chinamen in to mine for in the early 1800s if you were a tycoon, because you didn't care if they died. It's terrible, but that's just the sort of shit.
That's because they flushed their babies, so it's kind of a brutal culture.
It was pre-justice.
Brutal.
Yeah, that's
started watching Metalocalypse again.
Oh yeah, you made some comment, and I was like, "That's the most brutal blood
execution ever."
Whoa, great song title, Bloodsecuted.
Yeah, I just love Metalocalypse.
So good. I've only watched the first 2 seasons.
You've got so much awesomeness ahead of you. Pace yourself, because when it runs out, you got to wait forever for the next season. And lastly, on our governments that are fucked up,
retardedness.
In rare, especially rare these days, since it's barely bipartisan, because I think there's 3 Republicans left. Bipartisan action. Congressional military experts of both parties are about to force the Army to continue building Abrams tanks. When the Army has said unequivocally over and over again,
we don't need them.
We don't want them, and we cannot use them. The tank manufacturers, of course, which have convinced, by convinced they mean bribed, Congress that it needs the contracts, no matter what the Army says, the people that they're making it for.
Yeah, because I believe, we talked about this like a while back, because there's there's like thousands of unused tanks just sitting around guarding nothing.
We don't
guarding those bank accounts that'll never be used again.
Each tank has to have spare parts and has to be maintained.
Right, it has a crew and all that kind of stuff.
And a crew that has to be trained, which could be trained on some other piece of equipment that the Army might actually need to do whatever it is that our government's forcing them to do that they shouldn't be doing anyway.
You know what we could do, and I think this was even a suggestion then, repurpose the same tank manufacturers to build a proper railway infrastructure in the fucking United States. We could have high-speed trains.
Which we don't really need because of which would affect the petrodollar. And since the petro company has more pull than the tank manufacturers, that will never happen. Ever.
We'll
totally
never get our maglev public transport.
Totally get that out of your fucking head. It's just not going to happen. And until they make...
And that's why... we'll always be behind every other country ever.
It's one of those good thing, bad things, because each of us having our own personal conveyance is freedom. It gives us a freedom that countries that don't have this sort of a petro-based infrastructure, everyone has a car, consumption, this very wasteful, quote, wasteful, end quote, society has. It does make us more free. It makes us 1,000 times more free. Yes, I understand the wars of aggression because of the oil companies, blah, blah, blah. I understand that, but I'm just talking about our immediate responsibilities and our sphere of influence as human beings, as normal people, just normal citizen guys. We can get in our car and drive coast to coast.
Right.
We can go anywhere we want at any time, any way.
Like, logistically, we have a big-ass country. So it makes more sense for all of us to have cars. Whereas places where trains are viable and popular means of transport, like, say, Japan, it's a small-ass fucking country.
Yeah, and a lot of people densely packed in cities that never get to go out of the cities, except for public transit, which obviously there's more over there. But it gives us a freedom to go anywhere at any time we fucking want, which is great. It's empowering. Now, what we need to do is have that same personal conveyance thing, but running off of hydrogen or off of like air or off of some fucking Tesla coil, something, so the free energy that is just floating in our atmosphere at all times. we need to go away from that shit and just go into this. We'll get there. We will get there eventually. It's going to be a really terrible bunch of things that are going to happen between now and then, but we're clever monkeys. We'll fucking get there.
Yeah.
Even though we flush children down toilets. I still believe in humanity, Pete. The hell with you, trying to make me feel so glum and nihilistic.
Well, all right.
But, yeah. So that was from the Associated Press.
He is nihilist. He just believes in nothing.
Metalocalypse. Driving while under the influence of stupid. Somewhat backwards DUI. Danielle Parker was hospitalized and awaiting DUI charges after a crash near Gaston, North Carolina in March, even though she had been in the passenger seat of the car.
Okay.
Now you're like, what? You're going to...
Did she start in the driver's seat, though?
No.
Oh.
No.
Because that would have been funnier.
No. She had handled the wheel momentarily because Brittany Reinhardt, age 19, in the driver's seat, was busy texting. Reinhardt was sober, by the way. The person whom she had hold the wheel for her and drive the car so she could text was drunk.
Well, this sounds like some straight-up Darwin shit right here.
Yes. Therefore, everyone was driving under the influence of stupid.
Yeah, it seems like a problem that solved its fucking self.
Almost solved itself. Gaston Gazette is where that's from. Howard Hughes Part 2 is our next story.
Oh, good.
It's fucking weird. The biggest news out of Newton, Connecticut recently, not involving the tragic shootings at the Sandy Hook Elementary School, came when local environmental officials announced on April 29th that they were investigating the finding of, quote, 200 to 300 one-gallon plastic jugs filled with urine in a home in a state of disrepair, end quote. No charges were filed against the homeowner, but officials sought to assure neighbors and users of the property that no health hazard was present because all the urine is just simply urine.
Right,
and
it's
contained.
sterile.
It's not like it's feces.
Yeah.
The average
It's just fucking weird.
to have you very Howard Hughesian because he was like into measuring the amount of urine he had and keeping it and everything. The average person, reports the Connecticut Post, produces about 6 cups of urine a day. So 6 cups per 1 gallon gallon plastic jug. To 200, 300 of those. Just think of how long it took that person to collect their urine for God knows why. Fucking weird.
Yeah, that's a...
Unlike Howard Hughes, this person isn't a brilliant innovator, isn't rich, isn't a great businessman.
Doesn't have...
any of that cool shit.
Doesn't have DiCaprio playing him in a movie.
Yeah, they're just fucking weird.
Yeah, that's strange.
His next one is the worst restaurant ever. The owner of a restaurant in southern Sweden told authorities in March that the former owner had assured him that everything had been improved, apparently including the appliance the restaurant used for mixing salad dressings and sauces, which was a table model cement mixer. When health officials told the owner that it certainly was not approved, he immediately bought another rust-free salad mixer. Health authorities had come to the restaurant on a complaint that a screw had turned up in a customer's kebab. So that's a bit of a problem. That's from the local in Stockholm.
Oh.
Ouch.
Wacky Swedes.
That customer really got screwed.
Oh. Way to drive that one home.
Yes, sir. I really screwed that point home, didn't I? It gets worse.
Yeah.
As my blood sugar crashes. His next one's called I'm Not Dead Yet. In Lingyang City, China. No, Pete's. This is not about a baby.
Baby's not dead either.
In January. Still legitimate. I'm trying to forget that story, Pete, damn it. But I could tell by the look on your twisted, evil face that you were thinking about it. Peng Xinghao, 101 years old, joined a long line of returns from the dead. Following a fall, she had become stiff and without a heartbeat. I almost misread that. Following fall. Like, what?
In the following fall.
In the following fall, she became stiff and without a heartbeat. So what, did she just fall off the tree she was hanging off of? Rake her up with the rest of the old people. Oh, that's terrible.
Dry as leaves, these people.
I love it when the color of the old people changes and fall, and they all fall off, and then you get to, get big piles of old people, the kids playing them, and leave them
smells
at
like
the curb.
mothballs.
Following a fall, she had become stiff and without a heartbeat. Her 2 daughters said, and burial was scheduled just before the funeral. This is creepy. As relatives and friends were washing her body, preparing her, so this is like right before the funeral. Peng opened her eyes and calmly greeted all of them.
Oh, wow.
Freaking them all the fuck out.
Yeah.
From the Shanghai Daily. Our last story is unnecessary roughness. Police claim University of Colorado...
Yeah, well, tear out your guts and eat your babies. I want to completely dominate your soul and destroy it. I want to stomp on your children's testicles after I pull your stomach out. So you understand my pain? Just so you can feel my pain when I wake up.
Yeah. What does he wake up on? A bed of nails? I don't understand.
A bed of children's testicles he's stomping on, I guess. That's weird.
Police claim University of Colorado student Charlie Simon assaulted in an unusual way a former boyfriend early Saturday morning during a confrontation at a campus apartment. Simon, a 19-year-old sophomore, went to Job Donker's home at approximately 4 a.m. and became irate when he sought to remove her from the residence. That's when Miss Simon allegedly grabbed his testicles and squeezed as hard as she could, according to the police reports. Donker, age 23, replied, yeah, it hurt a lot, when a police officer asked him about Simon's squeeze play. Donker told police, between gasps, that he had dated Simon on and off during the prior 18 months, and that they had broken up approximately 20 times. Oh boy, sounds like something that might be going on up the street.
Yeah, right.
From my house right now. Simon was apparently angry because Donker had not, as promised, called or sent her a text at 3 a.m. because this happened at 4 a.m. So I guess he didn't check in. Police noted, though, that another woman was sleeping in Donker's bedroom when they arrived.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think everyone was wrong in this case. Simon was arrested on assault, trespass, and domestic violence charges.
I would say so.
Because that's both domestic and fucking violent.
Yeah, man, that's not cool. That is not cool.
No.
That's like straight up pulling out your intestines, stomping on your children's testicles. Not cool.
Yeah, that even if you're angry and you just want to like throw your drink in the dude's face or damage his property. I mean, damage a dude's property is not cool just because he's cheating on you. But actually crippling his family line, his ability for his family line to get... I mean, if that's someone's only son, you know what I mean? And you've just rendered him unable to produce children.
It's fucked up, bro.
Just because he cheated on you once and your relationship sucks. I'm just saying, ladies. I mean, like, it'd be like if a man realized a woman was cheating on him and then gave her a vaginal enema of like battery acid.
Yeah, right.
You know, that's just not right. Punch him in the face.
Yeah,
even if you want to. Even if you knock couple of his teeth out, that's terrible and it's bad. But he will get better, and you're not affecting his family's future. I mean, basically, before you freak out on someone, just take a moment, and I learned this from the Buddha and through my own experiences, take a moment to think, that is someone's child that I'm getting very angry at. And sometimes that can sort of put things in a little bit of a perspective. So, yeah, Pete, we learned a lot today.
I think we did.
We learned Pete's What's News are tragic and are escalating and becoming to the point where they're actually going to haunt me. Haunt me later. Because I still have that fucking picture in my head that I didn't remember till you mentioned it again, Pete. It was like a brief split-second picture and baby face and sewer pipe, and there's like dirt around it, and that's like, no!
Well, didn't you see the one later where baby's all happy?
No, because I was just like, scroll down.
Baby's fine, dude.
I just saw Baby's Fine. That's as much of that world I want in my life. I just can't emotionally handle it. So we learned that Pete's What's News are brutal, completely brutal, the most metal drain pipe brutal stories ever. We learned that Mike Tyson is a very unique, bombastic figure, which just has perpetual funny dribbling out of his mouth.
Kind of awesome.
Yeah, and we learned that it's not okay to cause damage to someone's genitals, no matter how angry you are, Pete.
It's just not good, man.
It's a no-no.
Bad news bears.
It's a total no-no. We learned that the new squirrels that moved into my garage after I poisoned the old squirrels,
still fuckers.
They're very ballsy. They're ballsy squirrels. The nuts on those squirrels, sons of a bitches. That was not even funny the first time I told it.
It's still terrible.
However, that gives us our sort of feeling that we like to end on.
Yeah.
Which brings us to... You've been listening to That's Life, a Baby Boy production, episode number 64.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. You can listen to many of the season 2 episodes, Pete,
for free
at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/that'slifepodcast.com. More shall be posted by myself and Pete later. We promise.
In the future.
A vacation coming up, and it's going to happen. To listen to or download any of the season 1 through season 3 episodes also.
For absolutely free.
Check us out at that'slifepodcast.com. That's that'slifepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and Pete, tell them again.
Oh, subscribe, bitches.
For instant notification via email whenever new episodes are posted. Pete, tell them about our super awesome Facebook page.
Hey, our super awesome Facebook page is right next to our regular Facebook page at facebook.com/that'slifepodcast, where you can leave us a comment, a question, and you can like and subscribe. Subscribe? Do you subscribe? You can.
Yes.
You can even follow us. And that way you'll also get notifications when we have new episodes up.
And other materials.
You can ask us questions.
Please
leave
do.
us feedback. We love it. And tell a friend. Share the laughter.
Yes, sir. And if you enjoyed what you just heard,
you know you have,
be sure to tell a friend, neighbor, coworker, or Facebook friend, and help us to spread that laughter as far as we can.
And from all of us here at That's Life Podcast, this has been Pete
and Carl, bidding you an adieu,
and a stomping on your children's testicles.
Adieu.
Unless your children are stuck in a poopy drain pipe, in which case, they're kind of protected from all that.
That's just mean, Pete. That's just mean.
That's what I do. It's what I do.